All right, all right, all right. Well, welcome to our Epic Icons tutorial. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to launch and quick start your business to $500 in less than 28 days. So I've got some brand new champions on the line. You get a chance to hear their questions, which may help you as you're watching this particular video. So at any rate, champions, what happened was I called Mr. McCovey, the owner of the company. I said, what is the secret? Because every company has a secret. Right? There's a secret play that you run, and if you run the play enough, you're going to make a lot of money. And what he said was get everybody started, get them positioned, then get them to $500. Get them 3 and get them to $500. So why a coaching session? My goal as your coach, Leslie's goal as your coach, Rayshawn's goal as your coach, any of the coaches, our goal is to bring out your strongest potential, help you develop to that coach, because we ain't trying to do this forever. We need you to pick up the torch, and then we need you to pass it on to somebody else. But we want to give you the skill set. And along the way, what you're going to find out is that you're going to have some strong support. Not only the support, as you heard from like a Leslie, or the support that you heard from, like any of our champions. And we're going to make sure that you got all the support that you actually need. So it starts with being very coachable. One of the things that I've always admired about Leslie is that she's exceptionally coachable. Let me go back. I don't know why she's popping. Stay with me. She's exceptionally coachable. And what that means is she doesn't always understand the play I've called. That she doesn't always understand it, but she's smart enough to say, even though sometimes she'll say, give me a minute, mama. I need to be bad for just like one more hour. And then, right. But she always comes around, and she's exceptionally coachable, and she trains herself and studies. And so when you start looking at, getting your business launched, number one, I want you to decide your business name. Now, the one you're looking at is my name. It is Blue Lion 4X. Leslie's is Black Wall Street 10X, the remix. But whatever your business name is, you want to go ahead and start looking at that, because it means that you're taking ownership of what you have when you actually have a business name. Until then, you know what I mean? You don't have to have it, but I want you to begin to start thinking of, what do I want to represent? And for me, lions represent moving in a pack. Lions represent, as a matter of fact, Leslie said something I didn't know, that when lions move, they put the weakest in the middle, right, or in the front, and they're flanked by all of the strong lions, so that if anything were to attack them, they're protecting them. Well, I think we do that in this business as well, because with this particular business, if somebody is not a great recruiter, bam, they're going to see, just like Sherelle or just like Rhonda, people down under their team. Does that make sense? Just like Alvanda. Alvanda got started, yesterday or day before yesterday, and already has somebody on his team, because we're not playing. This is not a game. So we have, so that's for me what the lion meant. So my business is based on how I think as a leader. You create your own, but I want you to start thinking about that. The next thing I want you to do is set a goal. When would you like to be at the $500? Okay. When would you like to actually have your first 3 team members? And when would you like to be positioned? Because what he said was, get positioned, get your 3, and then get them to $500. So get your position, get your 3, get you to $500. And then when you help your 3 get to $500, and they help their 3 get to $500, you start moving up the food chain. Does that make sense? So set your goal. Now, I believe that the day that you sign up and the day that you launch are 2 different days. So your goals are going to be based on, like Alvanda, you've already got position. The goal for those 3 is going to be based on when we can start making those calls and doing your launch call. Now, when do we start doing that? Once, Alvanda, you've got 70 names on your list. 50 to 70 is what I tell people, 50 to 70 names on your list. And I'll explain to you why in a few minutes. But once we help you to get, once we've got your 3, right, and we help your 3 to get their 3, then you actually move to $500, and they actually move to 3 and free. So it's kind of one of those things where everybody's going to go through the same motions. Like, everybody's going to go through the same motions. So I do believe that you cannot win if you think you cannot win. If you think you can't win, you're right. You're 100% right. And if you think you're going to win, you're right. You're 100% right. So we believe in speaking those things that are not as if they already are, simply because that's what the word says. So I am happy and grateful that I am already a Founder 500, earning $125 every Friday, $500 every 28 days on or before. You might say November 15th, November 21st, whatever it is. But what you cannot let come out of your mouth is, this is not working for me. You can't plant the seed and then dig it back up with negativity, and then plant another seed, and then dig it back up with doubt, then plant another seed and dig it back up. You know what I mean? God can't grow a seed that you won't leave in the ground. So once you speak it, then you start to walk it out. Does that make sense? Once I've handed you the play, it's time to play ball. Not time to come sit on the bench and say, man, they taller than us, coach. What? If you don't get your little stuff back out there on that court. Does that make sense? It's time to play ball. So I say that within 72 hours of you actually having your list of 50 to 70 names, we want to actually do your launch call, right? And what a launch call is, what y'all just went through just now, Daryl and Tanya, what y'all just went through, what that is what we call a launch call. That's what we call a launch call. And the reason we do it, and it was private like that, is because Leslie and I believe that we're able to have real live open dialogue with people during a real live launch call. So we want to do that for you. And I'm going to tell you how many people to invite to the launch call. Well, then the next step is to get you to $500. Well, the question is, how do I get to $500? Very simply. You get position, you get your 3, right? So this is you are positioned, right? Let me know if I'm talking too fast, y'all. This is you are positioned. Of course, now you already have your first 3. So what is your responsibility in order to get you to $500? Because the next step is $500. It is very simple. We're going to help, just like Daryl said, I can bring 4 myself. Tanya said, I can bring mine. The whole idea is to help your 3 to get their 3. Now, why does that help them? Because they were positioned, right, when they got right here. Now you want to help them get their 3. That's part of the process. So everybody goes through the same process. But because now you have 4, 3, right, and then 4, you have 4 people in this team, 4 in this team, and 4 in this team, you actually qualify at Founder 500, even though you only need 442. Me and Leslie don't believe in treating anybody less, like less of a team member because they're in the 3rd position, right? We treat everybody the exact same. So the way we're going to teach you, you're always going to have more in that 3rd leg than you're going to need. Does that make sense? But when we do that, you qualify for $500. Well, guys, the simplicity of getting your team to $500, right, is to have them. They've got their position. They got position. They got their 3, just like you, right? So they got their 3. Now all you're going to do is help their 3, right? We're going to help them to get their 3. Well, when we do that, now your team member moves to $500 because they're 444. This one moves to $500 because they're 444. And this one moves to $500 because they're 444. So each of these is making the $500. But guess what happens to you? Your income will go to $1,000. So remember that? If we reach down and make sure they're taken care of, we're automatically taken care of. Not we're taken care of and good luck to you. We're going to reach down and make sure that we get your team to go through the same process. Position, 3, $500. Does that make sense? That's the simplicity of that. But now what's the mindset? So the mindset, like I told I'll come to mindset in a minute. I'll tell you about that, and she can tell you about that actually. But so the power of 3 simply says this, y'all. It simply says this. When you get started, and you asked me a little bit about this a minute ago, Daryl, and guys, you're going to be like, well, I ain't had to take that many notes, coach. You didn't, because it's very, very simple. PT5, that's really all it is. But when you first get started as an IBO, you're actually going to pay $99.99. As a scholar, you're going to pay $99.99. So I got to change the verbiage up there real quick before my next one. And how are we going to get you your 3? Well, it could be like Daryl, my daughter and my best friend and this one. I already got my 3. Some people are going to, matter of fact, you can get your 3 just by saying, Tanya, girl, listen, I done found something. We need to be on this like right now, right? You can actually get to your 3 just like that. Yo, bro, something's going down. We ain't going to miss this. I need you to be on this webinar with me tonight at 9 o'clock. That's right, tonight at 9. You can actually do that with some people, and you'll end up with your first 3. The first 3 a lot of times don't have to be formal. It has to be the people that you really, really, really want to see successful, that you would really want your efforts to bless, right? Or whoever says yes first. So sometimes we want our efforts to bless some people. Sometimes we want our efforts to bless some people, but because they say no, they have to wait. Does that make sense? But it's okay. Everybody has their own time. So once you get your 3 family, you are now what we call a Founder 3. Your monthly subscription cost is waived, okay? And Dwight, I was just talking earlier to Yvette, I want to make sure we do a quick start for you guys. And so she's working on that, just FYI. So once you have your 3, you're a founder 1, which means your fee is waived. You'll pay $25 to become an IBO. The company then is going to waive this $99 fee as long as you're not making money in the building side and you're only making money on the Forex side, which we'll never know what that is. You can trade for your heart out with 3 active team members. However, what our responsibility to do, whether you decide all I want to do is trade or not, our responsibility is very simple. It is to go out and make sure that each of your 3 actually get 3. That's our responsibility. Now, what's the system? What is the process, right? The process is get them positioned, get them 3, and get them $500. So you got positioned, we help you get your 3, and when we help each of your 3 get their 3, you're at $500 every 28 days. They start to pay you the following Friday. So this is how our work week goes, champions. Our work week starts on Monday at 3 a.m. and it ends the following Monday at 2:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? So if you guys are Central, then it's going to end for you guys Monday at 2:59 Eastern Standard Time. Is that right? Or 4:59? 4:59 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, because you guys are an hour behind us. Yeah, so it's based on that Eastern time zone, but you can make up, what the difference is. So as long as you have this particular structure, guys, you got the structure of you've got your 3, right? And then you went ahead and got help your 3 get 3. And as long as that's done by 2:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that Friday, right? That Friday, what you're going to see is the company is going to have deposited that $125 into your Pay Quicker account. Once you set up the Pay Quicker account, which I need to do a training on that. Once you set up the Pay Quicker account, then the company actually processes to mail to you your Visa debit card. Okay. They mail you your Visa debit card, and you can use the card if you want to, or you can transfer the money from Pay Quicker into your bank, right? If you prefer. Now, I will tell you, although the card is nice, I'd rather have it go to my bank, and I'll tell you why. Every transaction with a company like Pay Quicker that you do, every decline is a 50-cent charge. So you may have $100 and you made a purchase of $10, you think you got 90, but really you actually have $89.50. Does that make sense? So for me personally, I'd rather have it transferred to my bank, but you can do what you want. I just want you to know that there are little fees associated with everything on those kind of cards. So, but they give you the option of doing that. So that $125 will be in your Pay Quicker account, transfer it to your bank, or they're going to mail you the card. But while they're mailing you the card, they give you a virtual card. It literally has the card number that's coming to you, expiration date. You can click, show the back of the card. It flips over, shows you the 3-digit code, and you can make online purchases with it immediately. Right? Or you can transfer it to, like I transferred some through PayPal, right? To an account, whatever you want to do. Okay. But the fact is it works just like a Visa debit card. So what did you do? You got position, you got 3, you got the 500, And the way you got the 500 was by helping your 3 to get their 3. Everybody clear on that? Any questions on that so far? Okay. If it is, just come off mute and let me know. And if it isn't, don't worry about it. We're going to keep going. So if it is to be, it's up to me. So Leslie, and I know you're probably working with getting Tanya. Oh, you're straight. Okay. Leslie, what was it now? So this is what Leslie did. The company said that if you recruited 100 people from the day you got started in 100 days, they would pay you a $50,000 bonus, which at the time was actually awesome. Now Leslie and I want to go to for $50,000 a month, but anyway. So, Leslie, what did I tell you about those people that you had to go get? What did I tell you?
You said that if you want it, you must go out and get all 100 yourself. You have to be buckled down and be serious and go out and get all 100 yourself. It is not about your partnership. It's about what you want. And if you're going to do it, go all the way by any means necessary.
Exactly. See, the mindset has to be that if I've got to do it all by myself, my grandma used to say, if it is to be, it's up to me, right? I'm going to go get it. Now, that's just the mindset. That's not how it works. But you cannot be of the mindset. I told Leslie, don't you ever tell me what your team ain't doing. I'm not interested in your team. This is about no excuses. This is about you getting there, right? Now, if your team steps up and does something, which your team did, you're going to get there. But I don't want you waiting, family, on your team. Well, in this particular platform, you only need 10. Well, actually 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You only need, what is it, 12 people? You're 3 plus 9. You only need 12 people, right? So so your mindset is, if I got to go get all 12 to get to my 500, that's what I'm going to do. But you're not going to have to do that, right? Does that make sense? But you have to set in your mind that I'm going to do it come head to high water, right? That has to be the mindset. So what are you going to do? How do I move? How would I get those people, Coach? Very, very simply. You're going to make a list of minimally, you're going to make a list of 50 to 70 names. Now, what are you going to do with those names? Well, I'm going to need from each of you your launch date. When do you want to do your first launch call? 24 to 72 hours from the time you got that list ready, we need to do your launch call. I want 3 dates, right? I want 3 dates that I'm actually going to get on a Zoom with you and your people, not the whole team, but you and your guests. This has to be you and your guests, right? That way I can edify you on the webinar. Leslie can edify you on the webinar. That's what we're going to do. Why would I call all 70 of them? Let me give you an idea. And I really prefer you do a list of 100, but we'll take 70. But let me give you an idea of the numbers. If you call all 70 of them, you're likely not only to be able to invite 60 of them, though. You'll say, why can I only invite 60? It's not that you can't invite 70, but some of their numbers have changed. Some of them are going to tell you to call them back next week. They're busy. And then some of them are going to tell you to kick rocks. Don't call me no more. I ain't trying to do nothing like this. This is not my cup of tea. Okay, so you invite 60. Of the 60, you should have 50 people, right, who actually, when you call to confirm, them, say, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm actually going to get on. Well, I take that back. Let me go back. No. 50 of them that may tell you yes. Anywhere from 45 to 50 that will actually tell you yes. Okay, I'll get on your webinar. However, when you go to confirm them, only 40 of them remember that they even talked to you. Because as soon as they got off the phone with you, the child burned her hand on the stove, they don't remember nothing they said to you. Does that make sense? Life happens. Of the 40 that confirmed yes, by the time we start the webinar, y'all, maybe 30 of them will actually get on the webinar. You see why you need 70 to start, right? 30 of them get on the webinar, maybe 7 of them drop off during the webinar because they're not interested or the phone rang or whatever the case may be. But you should end up with 7 to 12 people on your team from one launch call if you do it right. So, well, Coach, what if I invited 120? Then expect to end up on your team somewhere between 20 and 22 people. But, Coach, could I invite 200? Holton Bugs did. Tell them, Leslie, Holton Bugs did, right? And when you do that, you end up with more people on your team. There is no minimum. And let me tell you where this comes from, guys. You may think, well, that's weird that I would talk to all those people and not everybody would actually get started. Do the math. In everything in life, you could start college with 100 students, and by the time we graduate, it's 30. What happened to the other 70? As a matter of fact, I've heard that some seeds fall on good soil, some seeds fall on rocky soil, some seeds fall on shallow soil, right? So the word already told us is done in 3, right? So here's Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron earned in his heyday what would be equivalent now to millions of dollars to miss the ball 8 out of 10 times. M-I-L-L, I'm missing I. To miss the ball 8 out of 10 times. You may say, no, Coach, they paid him millions to hit the ball. Well, I know that. But he was only responsible to hit the ball at least 1.9 times out of 10. That means he missed 8 times out of 10. Michael Jordan says that he missed 33,000 shots. We only remember the ones he made. Does that make sense? We don't remember the ones that he actually missed. So what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you is this, is that if you're not going to be batting 100 or 1,000, whatever it is, you're not going to make every shot. I mean, it's just not that way. You don't make every shot. You can't win every game. You can't. Nobody does. So don't beat yourself up when somebody tells you go kick rocks. Don't beat yourself up when somebody doesn't show up, right, on the webinar. Let me tell you what happens for me. If I invite somebody to the webinar and they confirm they're part of this 40 right here that confirmed, and and then 10 of them didn't show up, and then 7 of them dropped off, that's 17 people that I'm going to call next week, and I'm going to say, listen, I am so embarrassed. I told Mr. McCovey that you were going to be on that webinar, and you didn't show up. You made me look bad. Now, I'm going to do this again on Friday at 7 o'clock. I know you're going to be in my webinar Friday at 7 o'clock, right? I'm not asking them again. I'm telling them, you embarrassed me. You embarrassed me. I looked up, and he's halfway through the presentation, and you already dropped off the webinar. I was so embarrassed to go to try to introduce you, and you were gone. So we're going to do this again on Friday. And I know for a fact you're going to get on and stay on my webinar, right? See, you can bustle up on people when they don't show up and do what they're supposed to do. Oh, yeah, I got you. So don't get mad when people don't show up. Life happens to everybody. Circle back, but just be a little bit more firm the next time. Like, I know you're going to show up this time, right? You're not going to embarrass me twice, right? You can do that with people. But what I'm saying is make a strong list of names, right? Make a strong list of names. And here's the thing. Some people say, well, I called people before, Coach, and they weren't interested in what I was doing the last time I tried this. And I'm going to tell you this. Now, we've got some other marketing things you can do on Facebook. But 9 months ago, what's this? This is November. October, September, August, July, June, May, April, March, February. 10 months ago. The same people that would have told you to kick rocks 10 months ago, Daryl, will tell you yes today. Why? Because either they're one of those 42 million people that are unemployed or underemployed, or they actually know someone who is, and now they're afraid of losing what they got. Does that make sense? So people who would have told you no a year ago, after this pandemic, they have a whole different perspective on life. And I'm not saying everybody you call is going to say yes. I'm going to say don't be afraid to call them. Because the way I'm going to teach you to call is this. This is so Daryl and Avanda, and I'm going to show you the script. The way I'm going to teach you to call is this. Listen. Hey, Bob. Hey, Daryl, this is Janice. How you doing? I'm doing great. Listen, Daryl, I know you're busy. Sorry we haven't had time to catch up, but listen, you're busy. I'm busy. I got a whole bunch of things to do, but my company is in the process of expanding, Daryl, and they're looking for 2 to 3 people that may want to earn an extra, $500 to $2,000 every, a month. Do you know 2 or 3 people we can talk to? Now, why do I ask him about people he knows? Because I know that Daryl don't want me to go around him, and Daryl's going to say, yeah, you can talk to me, right? And I'm going to say, oh, really? Okay, well, Daryl, no problem. Listen, I don't have time to go into details today, but my executive team, they're putting together a webinar tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Daryl, if I could get you on that webinar, Daryl, can you move some things around on your schedule to attend? Daryl says, well, maybe. I said, listen, Daryl, that's fine, but we're not looking for attempts or efforts right now. We want to help a lot of people. So if you can't get on, who do you know that could get on? Now, why do I say that? Because I'm going to take it away from Daryl. Let Daryl know I didn't call you about you anyway, so if you can't make it, who else can I talk to, right? Daryl said, well, no. Okay, I can make it. It's fantastic. Well, listen, Daryl, this is very important. It is critical that you call me at least an hour before if you see that there's something wrong, you're running late from work, your Wi-Fi is not working, an hour before the webinar, because if you can't make it, I'm going to replace you with somebody else. Why do I say that? Because I want Daryl to know that this is just not about him. See, people, when you give stuff away, listen to the webinar, listen to the video, get on this, yeah. People are like, oh. But when you smooth with it, Daryl, if you can't make it, it's cool. I'll replace you with somebody else. Now, you don't say it harshly. You just say it matter-of-factly. Daryl is like, oh, no, I'll be there. All right, Daryl, well, listen, I got to run. What would be the best time for us to reconnect? After the webinar tomorrow night, about 10 o'clock, or on Wednesday sometime early afternoon? Well, you know what? Tomorrow I'll be putting the kids down. Why don't we get back together on Wednesday? I have lunch at 1 o'clock. Great. So this is what we're going to do. Daryl, I'm going to do my best to make sure you get on that webinar, I promise. If I can get you on that webinar tomorrow at noon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the login credentials. I'll let you know you're eligible to get on the webinar. And you're going to get on the webinar at 9 o'clock for sure. And then we're going to get back together on Wednesday at 1 o'clock for sure. Right, Daryl? Wonderful. And I got this in the script. Don't worry about remembering it. All right, wonderful. Listen, I got to go. I hope the family is good, Daryl. Listen, we'll talk to you soon. I promise I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, okay? I promise. Click. Now, Daryl is like, oh, I hope I can get on the webinar. Oh, I hope, right? As opposed to him being like, man, I ain't messing with her, right? Because I asked him directly. So when you indirectly ask people for stuff, they don't want to be left out, right? So you're going to pique interest. Notice I didn't say Forex. I didn't say business. I didn't say how much money we make. I piqued the interest, right, from the script. And all I did was talk about, now this is conversation you're going to have not with your boy. Your boy, you're going to say, man, get on this webinar with me. This is the conversation you may have with some people that are on your list that you're not that close to. Does that make sense? There's a whole different thing you'll do with your friends. You talk to your friends like you talk to your friends. Listen, man, I found a way we can make some serious money. I need you to get on this line with me so we can get this bag. Whatever you normally say to them is how you'll invite them. But you don't go into detail. We want to expose them on the webinar so that they can see it. Now, I prefer, number one, that we do a webinar for just you. Number two, get them on a team webinar. And number three, you can send them a video. I really don't prefer three because you never know if people are going to get a phone call and totally forget to watch the video. Then when you follow up, they feel embarrassed because they didn't watch the video. I'd rather them get on a webinar. But if you have to, send a video. And then lastly, don't try to close them yourself. You see what Leslie does. She gets them in front of somebody else. Not that I'm the expert. Leslie can do all the work herself, but she's training you to do what she's being taught to do. Sherelle is magical at this. I'll ask them, Sherelle, on the webinar, I said, well, what did Sherelle tell you? And they'll tell me nothing. She didn't tell me nothing. She just said, listen, you need to see something. It's powerful, whatever she says, and they show up. In other words, the whole idea is you don't say a lot. You're going to find your own rhythm. I'm going to give you a script, but it doesn't mean you have to say it verbatim. Find your rhythm within that script. Does that make sense? And then, family, understand that this is about duplication. The reason we teach you a certain way is we want to teach your same teams a certain way, who teach their teams a certain way, and that way nobody gets lost in the sauce. So make a massive list, launch your business, make sure you introduce your new partner to the leader, schedule your launch Zoom or call, make sure your team members are plugged into the team trainings, right? Not saying you can't, like Leslie does things with her team, but she makes sure her team is plugged in, right? Schedule a weekly meeting with your team. When you're like founder, you can start sooner if you want to, if you feel the need, but you don't want your team tying into too many things. So when you're a founder 2,000, you've got 1,000, you've got like 30 people on your team, it's about the time for you to start having a team call, right? Now you may feel the need sooner than that. It's up to you. It's your company, but mind your business. Know what your numbers are. You're the leader, right? I said to Sherelle, do you know how close you are to making $500? She said, no, I only sponsor one people. I said, well, have you looked in your back office? She said, She looked in her back office and realized that she was just three or four people away from earning, $500 every 28 days. So when I say mind your business, look at your numbers. Know what's going on in your business. It's your company. I can't see everything in your company. Only you can see certain things. So mind your business. And listen, after a week, you're no longer new. We're going to need you to help out with introducing people on the webinar. We're going to need you to chime into different things. But it's as simple as T, get position, T, get your 3, and 5, and get for the 500. And then teach everybody else the same system, PT3. Got it, guys? Any questions about that, champions? Any questions whatsoever?
Nope. Sounds good to me.
All right.
I need
All right. Anybody else?
Please.
I mean, I know I got to go verbatim, to get to soak it in, but I pretty much
okay. I'll get Leslie the recording. No worries.
Okay.